English translation 346th context Sunday, 3rd August 2003, 22:35 hours.
Hello? Who hides there in the shadows?
You are very alert, and yet you saw me, my friend. Of course I did not mean to scare you.
Ah, it is you, dear girl. No, you did not scare me. It was just a silhouette I saw scurrying into the house shadow, which is why I asked the question. It could have been one of our people, or just a stranger. You are welcome. I am a bit surprised because you did not call me, which is why I did not expect you. Is there something special?
Be greeted, you dear fatherly friend.
That is a greeting. But it pleases me, and I thank you for it. Even though I am many decades younger than you, and you could be my multiple great-grandmother in your young years.
That is probably right, but it is not the age that matters, but the love, the knowledge, and the wisdom. It is these values that make you my fatherly friend.
Thank you.
Somehow I seem to have embarrassed you. That was not my intention.
Never mind. It is just unusual for me to hear such kind words for myself in such an intimate wise.
That is unfortunate. But why I come here? There is some work pending from our spirit leadership that I brought you to complete. Since you were not in your workroom and Eve was sleeping there when I entered the room, I put everything on your desk and left again to look for you out here.
Thank you for that. Of course I will do everything as soon as possible.
For which everyone would be very grateful.
Of course. Have you some time so I can ask you something else, or are you in a hurry?
My time is limited, but I can stay for about 20 to 30 minutes.
Good. Barbara recently photographed another unidentified flying object somewhere in central Switzerland or something. Can you find out if it was one of your ships? Because as I recognized from an enlargement of the negative, I have the necessary equipment for that. It was an object that resembled your flying apparatuses.
The last 3 weeks, Zafanat Paniach was responsible for the necessary observations on the Earth and for the earthly airspace. He was assisted by 2 other persons with their own flying apparatuses. So I will ask him about it and then let you know.
Thank you. Then another question. Can we beam into your ship together for a few minutes and fly somewhat out into space? I would like to observe the planet Mars, which is once again very close to Earth, which only happens about every 450 years or so.
That is not a question, dear friend, because I feel the need to fulfill your wish. Come here, here we are. You see, there in the southeast, you recognize Mars.
It is really conspicuous by its red glow. Can you? Yes, that is what I meant. How far away from Earth are we now? That is where the moon is, and it is big.
A little less than 500,000 kilometers. But look at the planet Mars.
Fantastic picture. Beautiful, really beautiful. Thanks for letting me see the whole thing.
It is my honor and pleasure to be able to grant you your wish. But now, Billy, my friend, we have to go back because the time is advanced and it is already 23:14 hours. I think it will be good if I drop you off at the front of the biotope. And there we are. Oh, there are 2 people in the cabin in the woods, look.
Oh, this is Christina and Silvano, so they are not strangers. Oh, and look there in Sadleg, there are crazy ones doing a street race on the dirt road again. How fast do you think they are?
One moment, I can read it here. Oh, but that is dangerous. Look here, the speed of both vehicles is 119 kilometers per hour. That is very dangerous on this road.
These are crazy people who wonder if they will wake up in hell after a crash. But now you have to leave again, so I guess you will have to lower me down. Goodbye then.
Until Thursday, my friend, because then we will be back together with Bernadette and we will have to do our work together. Also, I will give you the answer from Zafanat Paniach. Goodbye.
A fortunate coincidence.
On the 26th and 27th of July 2003, Andreas, my mother, and I spent 2 wonderful holidays with my cousin and her husband in the Glarnerland. On Sunday morning, 27.7, my cousin's husband chauffeured us to an Alp in the Ennetberg Mountains, from where we went for a short hike. It was a beautiful summer morning. The air smelled fine and spicy, and apart from the distant ringing of the bells of the grazing cows, all we could hear was the busy bustle of the insects and birds. Far below us in the valley lay the little town of Glarus, and the mountains around it offered a fantastic backdrop. As a child, I often spent my holidays with my relatives in the Glarnerland, and this time I was again overwhelmed by a beautiful and intense memory of my childhood. Even as a child, the high and mighty mountains around me made a big impression on me, and whenever I see them again, the feeling of being protected and safe awakens in me again. This was also the case on this Sunday morning, which is why I took some photos of the mountains, probably for purely nostalgic reasons. When I looked at the developed pictures a week later, I saw on the photo, on which the Rautispitz and the Wiggies are depicted, a small object whose shape seemed suspiciously familiar to me. But since I was lucky enough to capture Zafanat Paneach's ship on film 3 years ago, I did not even dare to think about the possibility of a repetition at first. But of course I could not stop thinking about the picture, and so on Sunday, the 3rd of August, I showed it to some core group members, who all thought that this object looked a lot like a ship. In the afternoon, Billy looked at the negative in enlargement and said that this was definitely a ship, and I could also see the glittering of the crest. Billy's and Florena's clarifications now revealed that a Plearan spacecraft pilot by the name of Gisselman was indeed working in Glarnerland on Sunday, 27th of July. Apparently it was simply a happy coincidence that I took a photo just at that second when Gisselman was flying over Wiggis and Rautispitz. What a happy coincidence.
This picture was taken on Sunday, 27th of July, 2003 at about 11 o'clock. Barbara Harnish, Switzerland.
Interesting addition.
On Friday, the 8th of August, I, Billy, together with Ava, my partner, and our little daughter Selena, stayed at Rick Pfeffikon with Ava's parents, as we do weekly on our shopping tour. Ava and her father were just having dinner, while her mother was busy with our little Selena and was just giving her something to drink, when, in the hallway outside, the front door was opened and closed again, without any knocking or ringing. Hannah Beery, Eva's mother, and I looked out to the corridor, but no one came in. Eva herself and her father were so busy with their meal that they missed this episode. And since everyone was busy except me, I said I would go and see. So I went to the front door, but there was no one there, so I opened the door and stepped outside. Surprised, I stopped, for outside stood Florena, looking at me impishly and asking if I was surprised. She had come here because she knew that I was at Eva's parents' house at that time, and because she wanted to tell me personally that a member of Zafanat Paneach's staff, named Gisselman, was the sinner who flew into Barbara's photographing area, which was not intentional but by coincidence. Billy.